I had an email from a man named Mark Sweat. I think he was from Maine. Very interesting. I'm going to read it to you to kind of set the stage for this. Billy Graham's daughter was interviewed on the Early Show by Jane Clayson, who asked her concerning 9/11, you know, the attacks on the World Trade Center and so forth. How could God let something like this happen? Anne Graham gave an extremely profound and insightful response. Well, she said, I believe God is deeply saddened by this, just as we are. But for years, we have been telling God to get out of our life, get out of our schools, get out of our bedroom, get out of our public places. We've evicted God in a country that says in God we trust. Should we be surprised then that misfortune befalls us? How can we expect God to give us his blessing and his protection if we demand that he get out? In light of recent events, terrorist attacks, school shootings, etc. Oh, I think it all started when Madeleine Murray O'Hair complained that she didn't want prayer in our schools. And we said, okay. And then someone said, you better not read the Bible in schools. Well, after all, the Bible says, thou shalt not kill and thou shalt not steal and love your neighbor as yourself. And so we said, well, okay. And of course, Dr. Spock said we shouldn't spank our children when they misbehave because, after all, their little personalities could be warped and we might damage their self-esteem. Of course, poor Dr. Spock's son committed suicide. But we said an expert ought to know what he's talking about, so we said, okay. Then someone said teachers and principals better not discipline our children when they misbehave. School administrators said no faculty member in this school better touch a student when they misbehave because we don't want any bad publicity and we certainly don't want a lawsuit. And we said, okay. And then someone said, well, let's let our daughters have abortions if they want, and they won't even have to tell their parents. And we said, okay. And then some wise school board member said, well, since boys will be boys and they're going to do it anyway, let's give our sons all the condoms they want so they can have all the fun they want, and we don't have to tell their parents where they got them. And we said, okay. And then some of our top elected officials said, well, it doesn't matter what we do in private as long as we do our jobs. Agreeing with them, we said, well, it doesn't matter to me what anyone, including the president, does in private, as long as I have a job and the economy is good. And we said, okay. And then someone said, let's print magazines with pictures of nude women and call it wholesome. Down-to-earth appreciation of their beauty. And we said, okay. And then someone took that appreciation a step further and published pictures of children, and then further made them available on the internet, and even the Supreme Court couldn't get that all right. And we said, okay. And then the entertainment industry said, let's make TV shows and movies that promote profanity, violence, and promiscuous sex. Let's record music that encourages rape, drugs, murder, suicide, and satanic themes. It's just entertainment. It has no adverse effect. Nobody takes it seriously anyway. And so we said, okay. And now we're asking ourselves why our children have no conscience, why they don't know right from wrong, and why it doesn't bother them to kill strangers, their classmates, their parents, and themselves. Probably, if we think about it long and hard enough, we can figure it out. I think it might have a great deal to do with we reap what we sow.